So for this example, we will have a very simple project consisting of 7 activities, namely A, B, C, D, E, F and G, with their durations as 3 days, 4 days, 2 days, 5 days, 6 days, 3 days and 7 days. Now notice on the right hand side, the Gantt chart shows the bar type structure depending upon the duration you entered. But notice that the start and end of this bar are blurry while the middle portion is intense. This is because all these tasks are manually scheduled. That means that the duration has been entered manually, but the start date is not, start and finish date are not clear to the program. So what we will do is we will select all the activities and we will convert it into auto schedule. Once we click on auto schedule, the start and finish date are calculated by the program and the bar chart become more clearer now. But notice that every activity here starts on the Friday, that is 22nd 1/16. This means that each activity has the same starting days and the finish day depend upon the duration. Now let's assume that I want to start my activity B after completion of activity A. So that means I will have to enter a predecessor for activity B as A. So I'm not going to enter A here, but I will enter the row number. So the row here for activity A is 1. So I will type 1 here, and now you can see the arrow has been created between activity A and activity B, which shows that as soon as activity A finishes, activity B begin. Same thing you can observe here. The finish date for activity A is Wednesday 1/27/16 and the start date for activity B is Wednesday 1/27/16. Similarly, if my activity C begins as soon as my activity B ends, I will enter 2. Let's say if my activity D begins after completion of activity B and A both, so I will enter 1, 2. Similarly, if my activity E begins after my completion of activity C, I will enter 3. Now let's say F begins after completion of C and D, 3, 4, and G begins after F. So here I have defined predecessor for every task. Remember, there won't be any predecessor for the first task as it is the first task of the complete project. So this is how we define predecessor in a project for different types of activities. Now let's assume that after completion of the activity A, I want a slack or I want a break of 2 days before beginning the activity B. So this means that after 1/27/16, I'm going to need a break for 2 days before beginning the activity B. So I can do that by double clicking on this task, going into predecessor. Here you can see an option called lag. Lag is a professional name for a break. So if I entered value 2 here and if I click OK, you can see the gap of 2 days has been created and each further date has been shifted by 2 days. And also predecessor becomes 1 FS plus 2 days. This FS stands for finish to start. So let's get more information for this. If my activity C begins after completion of activity B with a break of 3 days, what I will do is I will double click on C, I will go in predecessor and I will add the value 3. If I click OK, you may notice that the actual difference here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, but the value we entered was 3 days. This is because Saturday and Sunday are considered as default holidays by the calendar we are using currently in our project file. We will get back to it after a couple of lectures. So for now, let's assume that Saturdays and Sundays are not considered while planning. So my total lag will be Thursday, Friday and Monday. Now this was one type of lag. Let's assume that I want to end my activity E and activity F at the same time. So what I will do is I will click on F and I want to, okay, here the predecessor of F are 3 and 4. So everything for F will depend upon 3 and 4. So let's assume that my activity D, that is fourth, and activity F I want to end at same time. So what I will do is I will click on finish to finish, because I want to finish the project D and project F at the same time. So when I click on OK, you can see a line has been created. Similarly, I can go for negative lag as well. So this may seem a little bit critical to you. So now we will see what a critical time and non-critical time, or what a critical activity and non-critical activity means. So basically, critical activity is that kind of activity which we cannot move a day further or a day behind, and non-critical activity are adjustable activities. So to see what exactly I meant by that, we will click on this Gantt chart, we will go in more views and we will select a detailed Gantt and we will click on apply. So here you can see some of the charts or bars changes their color to the red while some remain blue. So what these color indicate is that the red activities are those activities which are critical. You cannot move them any day further or beyond. But the blue activities are the one which you can move according to your need. So here I have got a lag of 3 days. That means, as I have defined that my activity D and activity F will end on the same day, that means I can start this activity somewhat later as well. So now it is saying me you have moved D to a non-working day. So what I will do is I will move it little bit more, like on Monday, and you can see I have still got 1 day left. So it means I can start my activity D little bit late as well, and still it is not going to affect my result. So this is a very important feature while managing your project, to see whether a task is critical or non-critical, and according to that you can adjust your resources, material, money, etc. Thank you.